The Mimic at Lake Otero. The campfire crackled as my husband Daniel passed me a gooey s'more. Around us, his family laughed while roasted marshmallows at Lake Otero, our annual summer trip. The neighboring campsite, a group of college backpackers, was telling ghost stories that occasionally made our group chuckle. Then we all froze. A child's scream tore through the night. "Help me, please!" The voice was unmistakably a little girl's, high-pitched, trembling with terror. Daniel's brother Ryan stood up. "Who brought a kid out here?" No one had. The backpackers at the next site were already on their feet, flashlights sweeping the tree line. "That didn't come from us," one of them called. The scream came again. "Don't leave me!" This time from the shadowy field behind our camps. We grabbed our own flashlights and moved as a group, 16 of us now, scanning the tall grass. Then, about 100 feet away, we saw it. A figure, at least 6 feet tall, stick-thin and pure white, like bleached bone. It stood unnaturally still, facing us. "Hey!" Daniel shouted. The little girl's voice answered from its direction. "I'm lost." But the thing's body didn't move. No mouth opening, no shift in posture, just sound coming from it. We stepped forward. It stepped back. One of the backpackers whispered, "That is not a person." The figure moved again, but wrong. Its limbs jerked like a puppet's, too long and disjointed. It retreated toward the trees, dissolving into the shadows. We searched until midnight, found nothing. But as we returned to camp, the voice followed us. "Please, help me." It circled our tents all night, sometimes close, sometimes far, always that same terrified child's tone. No one slept. At dawn, it stopped. We packed up in silence. The backpackers left before we did. But as we drove away, I glanced back. Between the trees, something pale and tall watched us leave, and I swear, it smiled. The truth behind the voice. I couldn't forget what happened. A year later, I dug into Lake Otero's history, searching archives and old ranger reports. Then I found it. In 1972, a girl named Emily Carter vanished near this lake. She was 9 years old. Search teams combed the woods for weeks. Then a hunter found her body. But something was wrong. Her vocal cords had been removed. The police suspected a local man, Silas Hargrove, a reclusive trapper who lived deep in the woods. He was known for his uncanny ability to mimic animal sounds. So good, hunters swore he could lure deer right to him. But before they could arrest him, Silas disappeared. The case went cold. Yet over the years, campers reported hearing a child's voice in the woods. Some claimed to see a tall, pale figure watching them. The most chilling detail? Silas Hargrove was 6 feet 4 inches, thin and albino, his skin white as snow. They never found his body, but they never found Emily's voice box either. And sometimes, when the wind is just right, it still calls for help. The shadow in the jar. The old woman's cottage sat at the edge of Blackwood, where the trees grew too close together and the wind carried whispers. No one visited her, not after what happened to the Miller boy. But when my little sister Lila fell sick with a fever no doctor could cure, I had no choice. The door creaked open before I could knock. The air inside was thick with the scent of dried herbs and something darker. Rotting meat, maybe. The woman's eyes were milky white, fingers curled like claws. "You've come for the jar," she rasped. I swallowed hard. "They say you can heal anything." She grinned, her teeth blackened stumps. for a price. From a shelf cluttered with strange objects, she pulled down a small glass jar. Inside, something dark and oily slithered like a living shadow. "Feed it a drop of blood at midnight," she whispered. "Whisper your sister's name. It will take the sickness from her." I shuddered but took the jar. The thing inside pulsed against the glass, hungry. That night, I pricked my finger and let a single drop fall into the jar. The shadow lunged, absorbing the blood with a hiss. "Lila," I whispered. A cold wind rushed through the room. Down the hall, Lila's fever broke. She sat up, smiling. The shadow in the jar thrashed violently. I should have thrown it away then. But the old woman's warning echoed in my mind. "You must feed it every night, or it will feed on you." For a week, I obeyed. Each night, the shadow grew larger, darker. It no longer waited for the blood. It pressed against the glass as if trying to break free. Then, on the 8th night, I hesitated. The jar trembled in my hands. The shadow spoke. More. I dropped the jar. It didn't break. The lid cracked just enough. A tendril of darkness slithered out. I ran to Lila's room, but it was too late. The shadow clung to her like a second skin. Her eyes flew open, black, endless. "You stopped feeding us," she said in a voice that wasn't hers. The old woman never told me the truth. The shadow didn't take the sickness. It just needed a new host. And now, it was inside my sister. The cottage in Blackwood is gone. So is Lila. But sometimes at midnight, I hear scratching at my door, and a voice that sounds almost like hers whispers, "Let me in." Mystery of the Silent Soldier. I'll never forget my first year at Blackwood Psychiatric. Most patients were typical: depression, schizophrenia, the usual. But then there was Peter Henry, 6 feet 8 inches, built like a scarecrow, and he never spoke a word. His file said he was an elective mute, no physical reason for his silence. But the real mystery was how he got there. Peter had been declared dead for 12 years. According to records, he was a soldier who vanished during a routine patrol in Louisiana back in 1992. No body, no clues, just gone. Then, in 2004, a man matching his description walked into a VA hospital in Illinois, covered in dirt, wearing the same fatigues he'd disappeared in. His first and only words, "My name is Peter Henry. I've been dead since '92. Then he never spoke again. His family refused to see him, said they'd buried him long ago. DNA confirmed it was him, but they didn't care. So he ended up with us. The routine. Peter paced all day, every day. He'd move in slow, methodical circles, lips twitching like he was muttering. Sometimes he'd tilt his head back, mouth stretched wide in a soundless laugh. No breath, no voice, just empty pantomime. Medications did nothing. Therapy went nowhere. He'd just grin and keep pacing. The other patients avoided him. Even the orderlies got uneasy. "That man ain't right," one whispered, like something's missing inside. The truth. One night, I was on late shift when I heard scraping outside. Peter was in the courtyard, digging, not with a shovel, with his bare hands. I rushed out. "Peter, stop!" He froze. Then slowly, he turned and smiled at me, the first real reaction I'd ever seen. At his feet was a hole, not deep, but inside. A dog tag, his own. I reached for it, and his hand snatched my wrist. For the first time, his eyes focused, and in a voice that sounded like it came from somewhere else, he whispered, "They buried me alive." Then he collapsed,